After dominating the electric two-wheeler market in India, Ola Electric now wants to capture the electric three-wheeler market in the country, and according to this ET report, the company is now planning on launching their own electric auto rickshaw, which could be named Raahi. Now, do keep in mind here that none of the news that I share with you is confirmed yet, so please do take it with a grain of salt, but it's expected that Ola Electric is going to be making an announcement by the end of this month, and that announcement could potentially have news of this electric auto rickshaw. But why does Ola Electric want to enter the electric three-wheeler industry? Well, the answer is pretty simple if you follow the numbers. So back in 2014, only 14 electric rickshaws, that's 1-4, were sold throughout the entire country. But last year in 2023, a total of 5.81 lakh, 581,000 auto rickshaws were sold in the country, and these were all electric. So that's insane growth, but that's not all. Today, more than 50% of all of the auto rickshaws sold in India are actually electric. That is incredible, and there's been a revolution in this segment that most of us just haven't really noticed or paid attention to. On the other hand, despite the rapid growth of the electric two-wheeler industry in India, less than 6% of all two-wheelers sold in India are electric at this point. Right now, the electric auto rickshaw market is dominated by the likes of Mahindra, Byju, and Bajaj, and most of these electric auto rickshaws are priced between 2 and 3 lakh rupees. So by entering into this commercial segment, Ola Electric can significantly boost their revenues and make their IPO even more attractive to investors. Now, it is worth noting that Ola Electric has been planning this out for some time now. In fact, probably a couple of years at this point. Some of you might remember this image, which went viral a few years back, of Ola's electric auto rickshaw design. And I doubt it'll end up looking anything like this in its final form from what we've seen with Ola. They do have a very specific design language that they've been able to establish, and it's pretty stylish and cool. A lot of people seem to like it. And then there's this new line of electric motorcycles that they're planning on launching. And the designs for these bikes remind me a little bit of Tesla's Cybertruck, and I wouldn't be surprised if their electric auto rickshaw ends up having a similar design language, maybe something between an S1 and these motorcycles. All right, next up in the news, while it does seem to be a lot of good news for Ola Electric lately, their sister company Ola seems to be getting in a bit of trouble with Pune's Regional Transport Authority. See, both Ola and Uber had applied for an aggregator's license with Pune's RTA back in December of 2023, and both of their applications had been pending, but finally the RTI has made up its mind and decided not to grant them these licenses. Why? Well, it turns out that these companies have failed to comply with the regulations mentioned in the central aggregator policy, specifically the ones that relate to providing insurance and training to their driver partners. Now, does this mean the end for Ola and Uber in Pune? Well, probably not, or at least not necessarily. First of all, they have 30 days to appeal this decision, so Pune's Regional Transport Office is only going to make a final call on both of these companies after that time period is over. And then also, Pune's Transport Authority actually last year had denied their license to operate auto rickshaws in the region, but it turns out that that decision didn't really have any impact on these companies. They just continued to operate their auto rickshaw hailing services. They just kind of ignored the denial of their license. So it's hard to say if this is actually going to have any impact on these companies on the ground level, and we're just going to have to wait and see. All right, next up in the news, Zepto keeps showing up in our videos week after week. Last week it was Zepto Pass, and this week it's them introducing a platform fee of 2 rupees for select users. So the company really seems to be doing everything that they can to turn profitable by using Zomato's playbook. But that's not the only extra fee that Zepto is going to be charging now. In fact, the company is also charging an additional late night handling fee of 15 rupees per order placed after 11 p.m. Now, the reason why Zepto is trying to become profitable is probably because they're going to be going public likely by 2026. This is according to various media reports that have been circulating online. And also, I'm sure people internally within the company have been looking at how well things have been going for Zomato since they became profitable. Their stock price has been performing very well. But also, Zepto is in this experimental phase right now with their new initiatives, and we're gonna have to wait and see how these actually perform and if they get the results that they are hoping for. All right, next up in the news, I want to highlight a huge milestone accomplished by a hardware startup that we here at Backstage with Millionaires have been tracking for some time now. The company is called Agam Robotics. It was started by a friend of mine, Karthik, who had been tinkering with drones since 2020 as a side project, but he actually came back to India after living in the United States in 2022 when the government of India banned the import of drones to promote Made in India drones. So since then, Karthik has been working tirelessly on designing and manufacturing flight controllers. These are basically the brains of drones, and after years of hard work, his company, Agam Robotics, is now open for business. They have these Made in India flight controllers, which they're selling on their website for 39,999 rupees and are available for anyone who's looking to build drones in India, be it a business or just an individual who wants to build their own drones. And by the way, this isn't sponsored. I just want to highlight what Karthik has been working on because I think it's really difficult to build hardware in India. And so people like him who push through all of the obstacles, all of the roadblocks, all of the challenges along the way and just get to a final product that they're actually able to take to market and sell to people, I think that's really impressive and it needs to be highlighted more. All right, next up in the news, we are finally starting to see the impact of India's 30% tax on crypto profits. So Ntracker posted financials for Indian crypto unicorn CoinSwitch and they are not good. See, in FY22, CoinSwitch's revenue had grown to almost 250 crore rupees, but that revenue number has now dropped by more than 80% to just 45 crore rupees. On top of that, they did losses of 385 crore rupees, which is pretty bad in its own right, but also they had raised $300 million from investors, and they don't have much to show for it at this point. It's just a declining business, and seemingly no hope apart from one silver lining, which is that there are more than 2 crore users on their platform. So they've been planning to use this user base to build a new investment platform for these people. The company wants to launch a stock and mutual fund investment platform just like Zerota and grow. Of course, the space is already pretty crowded, so they'll have to do a lot to differentiate themselves, and it might just be that they're too late to this particular party. So do you think that CoinSwitch will be able to revive their business and make a successful entry into the stock and mutual fund investment space or not? Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. All right, next up in the news, while CoinSwitch is losing hundreds of crores, there's another company that's making hundreds of crores. Big Bang Boom just closed a 200 crore rupee order for their anti-drone technology from the Indian Navy and the Indian Army. This contract was awarded through the INDEX initiative, and it's actually the largest contract ever awarded through this initiative to an Indian startup. So this is a pretty huge deal for an Indian company that's making advanced defense technology right here in the country. But Big Bang Boom isn't actually the only startup that's building such amazing defense technology in India. In fact, we recently made a video about the top 10 defense startups in India, which you can check out by clicking on the link in the top right corner of your screen. All right, next up in the news, Byju Ravindran is getting a bit of relief as the Karnataka High Court extended the interim stay on Byju's plea against the Extraordinary General Meeting's decision to remove him and his family from the company, and this relief is provided until the next hearing, which is scheduled until the 28th of March. But that's probably the only good news for Byju. His company is still struggling, so according to media reports, the company has actually given up all of their office spaces across the entire country, across all of India, except for their headquarters in Bengaluru to cut down on costs, and they've asked their employees to work from home. Now, how this all ends will really depend a lot on whether Byju gets access to the $200 million that they raised in their recent rights issue, which the NCLT has asked them to keep untouched in an escrow account until the NCLT hears the plea filed by 4 of Byju's investors. All right, now let's move on to some of the funding news that happened this week. So Indian startups raised a total of $190 million, which is slightly lower than the $204 million that they raised last week. And let's take a look at some of these companies here. So first of all, we have Bengaluru-based fintech-focused SaaS startup Perfios, which analyzes companies' financial data and gives them insights to make better business decisions. And they raised $80 million in their latest funding round to become India's second unicorn of 2024 after Crutram. Then after that, we have Noida-based lithium-ion battery recycling startup Loham, and they take used EV batteries and extract precious metals like lithium, cobalt, and nickel to make sustainable lithium-ion batteries from them. They raised $54 million in their Series B round. After that, we have Bengaluru-based healthcare startup CureSkin, which creates a personalized skin and hair care routine for you based on your skin and hair type. They raised $20 million in their Series B round. After that, we have Mumbai-based Fiona Diamonds, which sells lab-grown diamond jewelry. They raised $720,000 in their seed round. And then finally, we have Pune-based Atram Automotive, which is making efficient motors for EVs, and they raised $570,000 in their seed round. Now, before I let you guys go, I want to say a big thanks to all of you guys who come back every week to watch these news videos. I know there's a lot of you out there, probably thousands of you guys who probably just watch these videos. Maybe you don't even watch our top 10 videos or our case studies or the shorts that we put out. You just watch these videos specifically, and I want to thank you guys for coming back week after week. It means a lot. You guys are sort of like the core audience, and especially those of you who have made it to the end of this video, you are like the core of the core, the hardcore Backstage with Millionaires fans. And I've met many of you guys out there in the wild, just roaming around Bengaluru or even outside of Bengaluru. I've bumped into people in random places. I met someone who loves to watch our news videos in Bhubaneswar recently. I met someone else actually in Assam. By the way, you can check out the video that we just posted about the top 10 startups from Assam. You can find a link to that video in the top right corner of your screen. Would highly recommend, if you want to learn more about the startup scene in Northeast India, Assam is the startup capital of Northeast, so would recommend you check that video out. But yeah, it's just amazing to bump into people and find out that they watch these news videos. And there's so much happening. I mean, there have been lulls, sort of like plateaus in news in this startup scene. Various periods since we started posting these videos in around early 2020 was when we posted our first news video, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. And since then, we've posted, like I said, 200 videos, and I think things are going to start picking up. I mean, they're already starting to pick up, but it feels like 2024, 2025, 2026 are going to be big years for Indian startup news. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. The ecosystem is going to grow. There's been this downturn, this funding winter. I think that's probably going to end probably in 2024, and then things are going to start picking up again. And hopefully a lot of the Indian startups will have learned lessons from the reasons why that funding winter happened. Overinflated valuations and excessive fundraising for things that probably didn't require massive amounts of burn the way that people were burning through money. I expect to see more profitable companies, more bootstrap companies. Really, I'm really hoping to see more hardware companies as well. I think that's a scene, a space that I'm really excited about. And I'm rambling here, but I just wanted to say that I really appreciate you guys tuning in every week. And especially those of you guys who made it this far in the video. It's incredible that you guys watch these videos every week. And it just means so much to us, me and the rest of the Backstage with Millionaires team. So thanks a lot, and I will catch you in the next one.